Billiards.com.au, more than just billiards. Come to our online store for great value.
I'm Edward Charlton. Here at billiards.com.au we get many requests for the purchase of billiard cloth and the idea of how to fit it to their home table. So today we're going to go through the sequence of events to show you and give you an idea of how to do just that job. Alright, step one in the process is that we need some tools to work with. So on the table here we're going to have some of those implements that will become handy through the course of this little manoeuvre. You're going to need a small little tack hammer, a little block of wood or something similar, a very sharp style knife, pair of scissors, small screwdriver that you'll utilise to take some of the staples out that are there, a little pen that's going to help you mark some things within the work so you keep it in order, help to get the staples out, a little pair of pliers, something to take the cushions off with, obviously some staples, and you've got a couple of choices of how you want to put the staples back in. The old manual way, which is a good old-fashioned way of doing it, or if you can, you might be able to hire a compressed air gun, which we will be using today. You can probably get one of those from your local hire shop. It makes the job a little bit easier. Okay, step two is we're going to start to dismantle the table down, ready to take the old cloth off, put the new cloth on. Now, there's a number of different manufacturers, different styles and designs of tables, so there's going to be different parts that you might find on your tables different to the one I'm using today. Normally you start from the top and work your way down. In this case, with the pockets being the first thing you would normally take off, they're usually bolted on from underneath or screwed on from the top. In the case of this one, they're actually inside the cushion panels themselves, so we're going to leave them to the next stage. When it comes to the screws to take the cushions off, some have timber panels over them. They're either slide on like this one will be, or screwed on from underneath, or even screwed through, or some instances you might find nice little timber buttons that go over the screw holes. They'll be polished the same colour as your table. Now this one, it's a slide on, so we just open it up and we'll take it right off, which exposes the cushions, the cushion screws, I'm sorry, in there, which we're now going to take off. Okay? Just be careful loosening them because you don't want to snap the bolt inside. So you just take your time, screw them out gently. Take all of them out, then we can move on to the next step. Well, we're now taking all the screws and the bolts that have held the cushion on, so we're now going to remove it from the table. But as I mentioned earlier, you may have different tables, so some pockets would have been screwed on from the top, others bolted on from underneath. They would have already been taken off. In this instance, the braces actually go inside the cushion, so we have to take them off with the end cushion. So it's just a matter of grabbing hold of the cushion and the pockets together, sliding them back and taking it out of the way. Okay, now some manufacturers of tables actually, once they put their tables together, number the parts as they go into place so that they can always go back to the same area. What I suggest you do though, if the table's not necessarily numbered, is as you take the part out, just put it on the ground near where you're going to work. So in the case of the pocket, just put it down near the leg of the table where it came off. Then you'll be putting it back where it came from. Okay, now step 4 is that we're going to remove the staples and the cloth from the cushions. Just get your implements ready to go with that. Pop them underneath the staple, just lever it up. Haven't got to go too hard with it. Right. Then pop some out and just gently lever them off. Now while I'm just doing that, I'll just explain briefly, we've left the bed cloth on because it's going to, at times when you're moving these cushions around a little bit with the polished timber, it's no good once it's wore out. It's going to protect the polish work of your table. So leave that on for the time being till we get all the cushions stripped down and recovered. Question was posed about getting the staples out. Look, you just use a standard little screwdriver, put it underneath, pry it up a little bit. You'll find that you may have to just force it under the staple a little bit to get it started. And once you do, you'll find it much easier for the whatever pair of pliers type you want to use. They just pop out. But you'll need to take all of them out, which is a painstaking little job, but a necessary one just the same. Okay, well we've removed a certain number of the staples, but in doing so we found, as I said, some manufacturers manufacture their tables different to others. In this one we've got one where we have a removable timber block, which is this timber section you see here. They are screwed on in different positions to hold it in place, but there are more staples from behind that. So what we're going to do is remove the timber block and then take them staples out. So we'll show you that in a minute. Okay, well we've removed all the cushion screws that have held the block in place, which will expose when we turn it over the next row of screws we're going to take out to remove the cloth totally. Once we get that done, we'll be actually ready to start putting things back together. Okay, step 5 in our little project today is we're actually going to start to put the cloth back on the cushions. And what I'm going to suggest to you is that you do one at a time. Take the cloth off, put the new cloth on in that one movement so that you've got other cushions that are still there as a bit of a reference point should you need it. Now with these type where we've removed the block, we've got it set up in a position where it's going to be ready to go back together. So all I'm going to suggest you do is when you've got the cloth piece cut ready to go, you just put it straight into position. You'll need to staple it down. What I'm going to suggest is that you staple at one end, put a little bit of tension to the other end, and that will help to eradicate any creasing that may be affected in the project. So we've put it into position, take a good healthy piece over, put a couple of staples in as a holding point. Then move to the other end quickly, just put a bit of tension on, it hasn't got to be extravagant. Hold it there, a couple of shots with the staples, that'll hold it in position. From there, it's just a matter of lining it up so you've got quite a bit of overhang. That'll keep an even balance in the cloth back on the cushion body itself. If you go too high up on it like that, you might get a rocking effect. So it's going to help to keep an even balance. And all you have to do, you can go along this way. Not too far apart, but not too wide. Once you get all the way along, we're ready to put it back on. Okay, now we're ready to start putting the cushion back together. We've run the staples along the back side of it. What we're going to do now is a little bit of feel in this occasion, because you're going to have to centre this cushion block back onto the top of the cushion rail itself. So firstly you want to make sure that it's flush at the end, and particularly when you turn the cloth over you can feel that it's flush with the top of the cushion rail and the cloth in place. Once you've got that done, it's just a matter of holding it with your fingers, putting a screw back into place and screwing it down. So once that's there, you don't have to go real tight with that. We then move to the other end and align it up before we put the other screws in. Right, now just to line up the cushion block on the top of your cushion properly, I put a screw in place just for speed. Just pull the cloth over, and with your thumb you can feel the flush when it gets flush with the end of the cushion. Okay. Once you're satisfied it's in place, just expose that screw again, drive it in with your screwdriver. Then all you need to do from there, you can double check, but just drive the other screws in to finish it off. I don't even know if they're hitting the bloody holes. Got to be close. Okay, now that the cushion block is in place, we're ready to start stapling the cloth on over the rubber itself. Now, all you need to do, you're just going to pull it over, make sure it's nice and straight there, put your first staple in. You need a bit of tension on, but you don't want to go berserk, so you're just holding it down, putting in one staple. Now, with the process I'm going to use, I'm taking into account that the person doing this will be one that has limited